Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Purplelunarose Tarot and Astrology. Tonight, we're going to do something special. We are going to talk about the Kundalini. I know you guys have heard me mention it a few times over the last month. So, we're going to do a special live. I'm going to tell you what it is, what you're supposed to do with it. We're going to look at some signs and symptoms. Several of you guys have messaged me and told me that you're experiencing a lot of the same thing. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity for us to get some clarification. I will do a collective energy at the end with some special cards, but just specific for the Kundalini, right? All right, guys, so I'm going to get started with what is the Kundalini. Carol, I'm so happy that you're here. It definitely makes me a little calmer, right? Hi, Pooja, Miss Tina. All right, I forgot. Don't forget, guys, we are streaming on 3 different platforms. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. All right, let's get started really quickly. I just want to go over what it is. I was trying to talk to Miss Tina about it, and sometimes people use such big words. We're like, what is this stuff, right? Like, what's the easiest way to explain what the Kundalini is, right? I've heard people call it an awakening. I've heard people call it an activation. Hi, Diana. And I'm just going to tell you about the research that I found. And I was really picky with my research because I have experienced this specific activation. I really picked things that were similar to my own experience, right? All right, so here's what I got for the Kundalini. It's when your greater source of intelligence is aroused from a dormant state. And this arousal is going to give you power to birth in a broad new range of creativity. Your body, everything will respond in different ways as the powerful energy unleashes. Okay. I've seen that there was three stages to the Kundalini. I'm probably not going to pronounce these words right, guys. So just bear with me. Hi, Tim. Okay, so stage 1 was the Aramba, I believe it is, or the beginning. Stage 2 is called the Gata, or the cleansing. Stage 3 was called the Bodhin, or the awakening. So these were the 3 stages that I found in the research for Kundalini awakening. I do believe that I am in stage 2, guys. Stage 2. This would be the cleansing stage. And the reason I believe this is because it's very noticeable in my nervous system. Hi, Jenna. And what I mean by it's noticeable in my nervous system is the way I respond or react to things has been the most noticeable change since this happened a little over a month ago, right? I feel like it doesn't necessarily, we want to respond instead of react, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm only responding and I'm not reacting, or like I'm not, making any mistakes or anything like that. It just means that when I do react to a situation instead of respond to it, it's shown to me very clearly, like right away, so that I can definitely fix the situation, release the situation, whatever it is that I have to do. But definitely the most noticeable is the cleansing of the nervous system. I do believe that this activation was due to some really intense energies that I experienced after a reunion stage after experiencing a 3-year separation. So I know that's really common for a lot of you guys. I know a lot of you guys are also experiencing the very same thing, right? So yeah, I just want to make sure that I put that out there so everyone understands. This is why this is happening to us, right? Natalie Brown on Facebook. Hello. All right. So it has been shown that this activation or awakening of the Kundalini also activates unused parts of your brain. So you're going to have clearer thoughts and processing, and be able to process and clearer processing mental abilities. Your spiritual abilities will also increase, and trust them and act accordingly. This is going to be really important. I definitely feel like the messages are coming in a lot clearer. I definitely feel like I can hear and see the signs and everything literally everywhere I look. In people, places, animals, it doesn't matter. It's there. I will say that I don't necessarily like what I see, right? Um, but it doesn't mean that I don't see it and that it's not clear to me what the message is, right? So make sure to trust your spiritual abilities at this time. Make sure to implement them, use them. Ask questions, guys. Ask questions. I feel like I've been asking questions since August 1st. And I just keep getting answers. So just keep asking the questions. I do feel like this is really a time for us to stop playing around. Miss Tina, when she asked me what is the Kundalini, I said it's something that happens to you that helps you get your shit together. Like that's literally what happens when this situation, when these energies activate. But it's going to be a time to stop playing. Stop praying that people and places will, grow up or treat you better because they're not going to. So you have to just remove them at this time and move forward. I know that sounds kind of cold and I know it sounds kind of harsh. And really, honestly, I promise you, I know how it sounds. But I also know that I tried to go around this every which way possible, guys, every which way. And it wasn't possible. So I definitely feel like if you need to remove certain situations, again, people, places, do them. Don't let it stop you from being able to move forward because once this activation happens, it's definitely like this different type of drive. I definitely have like a different type of passion. I don't know. It's just, I guess the foggy brain is gone. So maybe that's it. But yeah, you don't want to have like people in your way at the same time that you're experiencing this situation. All right, so that's the Kundalini wrapped up in about as simple as I could make it. But I do want to talk about some signs and symptoms because, again, I know that several of you are also experiencing this. And I just want to say thank you for being so brave to message me and let me know. My whole journey is out here, right, for the whole world to see. And so when these things happen, it's scary, right? And like, I don't know. People thought I was having like, another nervous breakdown. And it wasn't. It was something completely different, but it was so unexplainable. And I will say that I heard the word Kundalini several times in my spiritual awakening, but just like shadow work, it sounded scary. It sounded like something like, I don't even know if I want to deal with that, right? It's not that bad. Again, just like the shadow work. It's funny how we procrastinate the things and make them like a bigger deal than they actually are. I want to say that of all the activations, all the things I've experienced on this very specific spiritual awakening journey, the Kundalini was the scariest to begin with and is quickly becoming my favorite. All right, so let's talk signs and symptoms. And I'm going to give you examples. I know some of those signs and symptoms look pretty generic, and you're like, man, I feel fatigue and insomnia and pressure all the time. All right, but I'm going to tell you what kind, okay? So the fatigue that you feel is not your just everyday, oh, I'm tired, I need 8 more cups of coffee type of feeling. This is the burnout feeling. This is the feeling that you get when you've been doing something, a project. For me, it's PLR, right? Where I'm just drive, 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 drive. Sometimes, I don't know, I get crazy. I need to balance my work schedule out a lot better, but sometimes I can go like 16 hours straight, and sometimes I don't want to put 2 hours in, right? So this is definitely that burnout type of energy, this type of fatigue. These are going to be signs and symptoms that you feel up until this activation happens, I would say. Because I definitely feel like after the activation happened, I feel much more energetic, but we'll talk more about that later. I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. Insomnia. Okay, so I know we all have insomnia. Oh my goodness, both my ears just started ringing. All right, so insomnia, this was more like not like I'm sleepy. Okay, so you know how we have insomnia and you're sleepy, but you want to go to sleep, but you kind of can't. I was wide awake, wide awake. My body felt tired. My mind felt tired, but I was just wide awake. Like I could do things. I could get up. I could work if I wanted to, right? It was that type of insomnia. Sorry, I talk a lot. Water. Pressure. And the pressure that I was feeling, a lot of you guys mentioned chest pressure, and that's very possible too. But I will say that while I was doing my research, I did come across some information that showed um, if you're feeling a lot of pressure in the chest area, this definitely could be part of your Kundalini, but it's not going to stay in your chest area, right? It's kind of going to move up and down. But again, we'll talk more about that in a minute. So for a lot of us, it's very possible. I do definitely very strongly believe that a lot of us are having also heart chakra awakenings or heart chakra activations. And just really quickly, what that is where when we open our hearts up to love, right? A lot of times this happens after they've been closed for long periods of time. Um, for me, I was closed for a long period of time. I became very angry, mean, bitter, right? And as the heart chakra awakens, it's like I have more compassion, more understanding for things that I never ever would have thought that, I would have understanding for. So that's heart chakra awakening. So this is definitely a little bit more than just that. Okay. For me, I had sinus pressure. So let me know, guys, if you've had your Kundalini with sinus pressure a thing for you, because I feel like that was one of the most common signs and symptoms. A lot of people felt like, oh, I'm getting a cold, or maybe I've caught something. It was just a lot of sinus pressure. And also, I want to say tension headaches, like right in the front of my forehead. I used to get these a lot when I was trying to stop drinking the soda pop. So it was like the caffeine withdrawal type of headache, right? Also, heat sensation is going to be on your list there. And let's talk about the heat sensation a little bit, because this is where it kind of gets a little bit scary, right? Jenna says chest issues here. Okay, so the heat sensation, thank you, Jenna, for sharing. The heat sensation, I feel like, is going to be what I thought was probably the scariest thing. It's going to be like near and around, and it's going up and down your spine, and it's going up and down your chakras, right? But it feels like it's just going up and down your spine. For me, this heat sensation got to like a boiling point. And I remember talking with Carol about this. It just kind of felt like it just shot through the top of my head. Like it was rising, 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 rising. And when it got to my skull, like my head, guys, this is when I felt like I was having a stroke, or something really bad was happening. This is when I mentioned that, like I said, I'm ready to go to the emergency room now, um, because I don't know. I have this thing with the smell of hospitals. It's probably some past life repressed something, who knows. But it's like the smell of it drives me insane. I can't go in there. And so I'm not going to a doctor or to a hospital unless, it's like, at the end. So when the heat started rising towards my scalp, I definitely started to feel like, oh my gosh, this is like a stroke or something. Of course, everybody around me thought I was having a panic attack, which, is totally understandable, because a lot of the same symptoms, right? And I will say too that wouldn't this cause you to have a little anxiety and a little panic? So I feel like one kind of just induced the other type of situation. But yes, guys, the heat definitely feels like it's shooting through your body, out the scalp. For me, I did notice in my research it wasn't that way for everyone. But here's what I'm going to say: it felt like it was going, even though it was out the scalp, it was like it was just rushing through. Like there was this abundant amount of energy that just kept rushing from the bottom straight up, and it was just like I don't know. I would say this lasted about like the peak of it. At the peak of it, I'm in the emergency room, guys. But at the peak of it, I would say this was probably about an hour long. And all of this over a 2 to 3 days period of time. And it just kind of boiled, peaked, right? So yeah, that's the heat sensation. So really important. I'm always going to tell you to go to your doctor. Guys, I went to two. I went to one, and when I didn't like what they said, when they were like, lady, there's nothing wrong with you, we don't know. And everyone else was like, panic attacks, you must be stressed. I'm like, okay, when am I not stressed? Who is not stressed, right? Like, I feel like I'm learning to handle my stress better. So why am I having panic attacks now, right? It just didn't make sense to me. Um, I definitely will say that spirit was showing me the word Kundalini was coming up everywhere. I was getting the message to reach out to Carol several times. And to the point like where she came into one of the lives and I was like, oh yeah, I'm in trouble because, now spirits then went and got Carol. You see what I mean? But I finally did make the call, right? I finally did get the information and kind of get the ball rolling. Thank you so much, Carol. I love you. It's funny how spirit draws all you guys to me, and you guys have all helped me in my journey in some shape, way, form, or fashion. But yes, go to the doctor, guys. If you need to, go twice. But yeah, when they tell you that everything's okay and all your test results are normal, one, congratulate yourself for being so freaking healthy, right? And two, start working on your spiritual cleansing. Start working with this Kundalini energy because it's powerful, and it's so helpful, right? It's so useful. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the shakes. You're going to see that there towards the bottom of the list on your screen. The shakes I want to talk about because this it's really important we understand why some of us experience these shakes. So the body is trying to contain a whole lot of energy, again, just rushing through you, right? And I did feel the shakes. Again, people kind of equated that with anxiety and panic and whatnot. High blood pressure too, because my blood pressure was like through the freaking roof while this thing was peaking, right? And by the way, it came like right down right after, like nothing had happened. I know, it's crazy. But anyway, luckily I have like witnesses that were with me and got to see this all, but I'm sure they probably still think panic attack. Until you experience it, it's just hard to, it's just like everything else. It's just one of those things you have to experience yourself, right? But I want to talk about the shakes a little bit, and here's a little vulnerability. Ready? But it's important that I mention it. Okay, so when I was drinking, I decided when I had my spiritual awakening, I was like, went through my dark night of the soul. I actually drank more through dark night of the soul. And then I started to slow down as I was coming out of dark night of the soul. I started drinking less and less and less. And then I stopped. Well, I didn't really stop. I would just say I was only going to drink socially. I would only drink socially. I wouldn't buy any drinks or alcohol. I wouldn't bring any home. But I would just, if someone was out or if someone took me to dinner, I might have a beer, right? I didn't want to be like the awkward person that didn't have a drink in their hand. You know what I'm saying? That type of situation. And then I got to the point where I just completely stopped. And then, of course, something happened in life, and I drank again. Not very much because I had went so long without drinking that it was like my body just couldn't handle it, couldn't tolerate it. It was like I wasn't allowed to drink, right? And like one beer could send me to the bathroom, and I'm having like a bad hangover the next day, right? Um, I have noticed that when I started to slow down the drinking, I experienced some tremors or some shakes. And I do feel that that is going to be some form of withdrawal from not having the alcohol, right? Or having less of, or trying to go long periods without the alcohol, right? I will say that these shakes were very, very similar. And I will also say that right before I experienced the activation, I had purchased alcohol and had taken, I believe, 3 drinks. So, a little vulnerability, right? But it didn't help the situation. It definitely made the situation worse. So I don't know, public service announcement, if you're having your Kundalini, don't drink. It's not going to make it better. It's not going to make it calm down. It definitely could make the everything worse, right? All right, let's move on. Heightened energetic sensitivity. This is also probably going to be one of my favorites, because you can suddenly tell who's a liar and who's not. But people, places, food, everything has energy, okay? you will start to see and feel people's energy. And I mean like the real energy. I don't mean like just the presentation that they give you. Oh, thank you, Jenna. Or the face that they show you, right? I mean like the real deep down, the thing they're trying to hide from you. You can see it clear as a book now. You get to decide now how you're going to accept people, right? Because this is literally going to be everyone in your environment, everyone. I feel like you will release people at this stage also, like if it's too much for you and you see that they don't fit into the timeline or the trajectory that you're headed. I think this is also going to be a time that it'll be easier. It's actually easier because of the Kundalini. It's easier for you to release. If you're anything like me, you hold on to everything for dear life, right? People, places, things, everything, right? So there's definitely this energy where it's like it's easier for me now to let some things go. All right, last one on the bottom. This is going to be the most interesting one, probably. This is going to be probably one of the rare ones too. All right, so it's called spontaneous Kriya. And this is kind of when, let's see how I hear this explained, your body doing yoga involuntarily. Um, so it's like positions, your body just starts doing positions. Hi, Sandra. Kind of against your will, right? And I noticed it with my back stretches, which by the way are still happening. And my arms kind of just like, don't laugh, but kind of just like shooting out, either to the sides or to the top. And my fingers will shoot like towards the sky. And this in like a they're stretching, right? They're just stretching, but it's not like I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I want to stretch my arms and fingers. Like, no, it just does it, and you're like, what the, right? um, I do feel like it's the body's way of trying to like balance the new energetic flow that's inside me, right? I will say that it definitely reminds me, I always make fun of, Seinfeld. She, Elaine, the way she dances, it kind of reminds me of that. Your body just kind of jerks in weird ways. But I will say that it's like it knows that I need to stretch in that way because my back feels great afterwards, or maybe my shoulders feel better, or after I, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But yeah, definitely a thing. So intuitive movement to help your energy align. I will say also some emotional highs and lows here. And it's kind of going to be the same thing. It's like where it just comes really spontaneous, like really, really quickly. It just kind of, that's how I dance all the time, Tim, all the time. And I'm Cuban. People look at me and they're like, you're supposed to know how. I'm like, oh, but I don't know. I guess I watch too much Seinfeld. I don't know. But yeah, the emotional highs and lows are no joke. And I wouldn't, it definitely had me really concerned about, my therapy, medication, these types of things, right? Because the emotional highs and lows. And here's what I'm going to say, guys. Knowledge is power, okay? Knowledge is power. When you don't know something, you can definitely want to go jump on the old bandwagon because that's all you know, that's all you've ever heard, right? But it's like, and here's the thing, knowledge is power, but implementing, okay? Implementing the knowledge is key. So you can have all the power in the world, but if you don't have the key to open the door, you're not going to get through. You see what I mean? So you can go learn what happened to me. Why did I experience these things? Go find out what all this is, right? But if you don't actually start to implement it, then it doesn't really do anything, right? So the emotional highs and lows. There's several things that I'm learning to do for when that situation arises. And I will say that it comes, if I put myself in a more stressful situation, they come quicker. If I remove myself or don't allow certain energies into my energetic space, then it's like the calmness lasts longer, right? I mean, it's that simple. But I would definitely say be cautious of the emotional highs and lows. And then the last thing that I want to talk about, before we talk about what's left after all of this, right? Is going to be the repressed emotions. And this is something that I found came up in a lot of the research. So a lot of people experience this. It's not just me. Um, a lot for me. I mean, I guess it depends on how much we have repressed, right? For me, it's a lot. It's a lot. But what I noticed was that these emotions were being triggered by things that were actually going on in my life, like right now. And that was really challenging. It was bringing up things that I was like, wow, I didn't know I had forgot that. I didn't know that I had put that away and swept that under that rug so far that even, you see what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't know it was down there. And so when it came up, it was definitely very challenging. So yeah, the emotional highs and lows and the repressed emotions that are triggered very easily by your everyday, what's happening right now, probably the most challenging out of the Kundalini. All right, now let's talk about what's left after all of this stuff. What are you supposed to do after all of this, right? I know. All right, so you see it right there on your screen. What is left is your body. And it's running on a more powerful, psychic, spiritual, badass, energetic mode, okay? I said it, I don't care, because it's so true. You're going to notice that you are more intuitive. You're going to notice that you are giving yourself more self-care. You're going to notice that all these things you're doing it's putting you more aligned where you're supposed to be. Guys, what happens when you're more aligned? Everything that's meant to be yours comes to you, right? You're going to notice that you're healthier, you're stronger. And these are all freaking amazing things for me. Like, I don't know about you guys, but before my Kundalini, I was definitely my mom. Oh, bless her. My mom. What do we call it? A hypochondriac. It's like something was always wrong with her, right? As I got older, this was happening to me too, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have this. This is happening. I'm dying, right? It was just one thing after another. I just want to say, when you feel like you're dying, the spirit's trying to get your attention. So I'm just saying, pay attention. But yeah, it was like all these things, and it was definitely like a hypochondriac type of energy. I feel so confident in my health right now. Of course, it does help having the two different doctors going, every test possible, and telling me that I was perfectly healthy, right? That definitely helps. But it's like I don't question things now. If I have a headache, it's a headache, right? If I have this, it's that, right? I don't need to turn one thing into cancer, right? Like I don't need to don't Google the things either, guys. A very good friend of mine told me to stop Googling the things, and he was so right. I'm done Googling the things. Like, don't do that. Talk to spirit, go to your doctor, do what you got to do, but don't Google, okay? But here's the thing. I do feel stronger. I do feel more confident. I do feel healthier. I do feel more aligned, right? Self-care is a lot easier for me, and my intuition is super high. So I want to stay in this energy, right? I want to stay in this energy. So I want to focus on staying balanced in all areas of my life in order for me to sustain these benefits. All right, that's the goal, okay? So this activation also going to help you release. Now you're going to feel a free sense, right? I definitely got that free sense. Like there's wings. I can go wherever I want to go. The problem now is I really don't know where I want to go. But yeah, it's really interesting. I don't feel like held down anymore. I do feel like this Kundalini awakening is helping me experience happiness like I've never experienced it before. I was telling Miss Tina, like, she came home from work the other day, and I like to sit outside, which is abnormal because I don't like to sit outside. But here lately, I've been sitting outside, watching the trees, watching the leaves, watching like the wind blows. Like, there's these huge red cardinals in Miss Tina's backyard that are just so beautiful. Hummingbirds everywhere, you know, all the things. But I just didn't give a crap about this stuff before. It was, I don't know how to explain it. Animals, I always say, like, I'm not an animal person. I just wasn't. I'm a people person. Like, if you got a problem, you're a person, I'm there, I'll try to help you, right? But if it was like an animal, I mean, I wasn't cruel to animals or anything like that. I don't know, I just didn't pay attention, I guess. Now it's like I sit on the back porch and I swear I'm having like entire conversations with like the birds and the bees and the dogs. And I know you guys probably laugh. I mean, I feel like the people that have not had a Kundalini awakening may laugh, but the people who have had a Kundalini awakening understand. And it's beautiful, right? It's super, super beautiful. All right, guys, remember, balance to sustain the energy. Be cautious of the suppressed energy, and the Kundalini is definitely going to help you to release. We made it. All right, guys. So now I want to, there I am, do a collective reading, just like we normally do. But because the Kundalini is all about the chakras, right? We are going to use Miss Owl's Chakra Love Crystal Vibrations Oracle. Hi, Rachel. Tim says, I love the critters that I feed. This is all new to me, guys. I promise. I was never, I don't know, in a plant person. Like, I tried, right? But I just wasn't. And now it's like, now I want to, right? Like, now I'm excited about it. All right, let's see where everyone's energy is at. All right, so we have the Strength card coming out for masculine energy. It says strength comes from your connection to the root of your being. Smoky quartz is on there. Root chakra is giving me like going to the root of the problem. Too many. Oneness is going to come out for feminine energy. You are part of the universe and always will be. These cards are so beautiful. Oh, come on, light. So feminine energy, feeling connected to source, right? All right, bridging energy. All right, so it's a chakra balance card. It says, embrace the balance between earth and spirit. Embrace the balance between earth and spirit. And that's going to be the bridging energy. All right, so I pulled out Llewellyn Tarot. Let's clarify. Don't forget, guys, Sunday night, I'll be back. We're going to do the astrology for the next week. And then we will do some free readings. Tomorrow, I'm taking a trip to Nashville. So I'll miss you guys tomorrow. All right, so Queen of Pentacles comes out for the Strength card. Money. Resources. Could definitely be some karmic energy. Let's look at the feminine energy. Queen of Cups comes out. Ooh, big confirmation, right? Queen of Cups is my clue card for Divine Feminine. Unconditional love. It's more than that. It's your creation. And I want to say it looks like it has wings. All right, bridging energy. Knight of Cups. So embrace the balance between earth and spirit. Knight of Cups comes out. It's interesting. Knight of Cups is normally the player card, right? The playboy type of card energy. Knight of Cups says that this person has to be really courageous, and they take a message, but the message is about how they feel, their emotions. So we also have the Six of Swords, the Tower, and the Ace of Swords. So embrace the balance between earth and spirit. It's weird. I'm getting like there's some sort of new connection, some sort of new understanding. I think it's between spirit, but it is the bridging energy. So it's supposed to be between masculine and feminine, right? It's almost because there's new clarity. And the Six of Swords came after the Tower. So it's like you're being guided to new clarity after delivering the message. All right, let's go back to chakra love and we'll do a quick head, heart, higher self before we wrap it up. All right, so headspace, we have shine. Oh, it's my favorite. It says, you're made of stardust, so keep sparkling. It's solar plexus chakra. So it's going to be about personal power. Mookate. Does that say Mookate? Sandra. Mookaite. Mookate. I've never heard of that crystal before. All right, let's look at heart space. Confidence. No one will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Be your own cheerleader. I got that one twice today. All right, let's do higher self. Creativity. Use creativity to transform your pain into positivity. Mookite. That's probably right, Sandra. All right, so higher self, masculine. Use creativity to transform your pain into positivity. Oh my gosh, I've seen this video on TikTok. The man was talking, and he was talking about like people that have been through like tough situations, right? The struggles are real, right? The people that have to like, I don't know, work, provide in this very challenging world that we live in, right? When he was talking, he's like, you know, the best thing about this is like, you can't take these people down. The pain makes you like more badass, right? Like the pain makes you harder, stronger. So it's like we have to look at our pain or like what it is that we went through and see it as something that is positive, right? Like so, like it's something that's like our armor, right? It made us badass. I don't know why I keep saying that today. All right, let's do a feminine, head, heart, higher self, and then I'll pull a guidance, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, so feminine, headspace. I had somebody ask me today, she said, how do I know that the masculine side is true? Like she said, how do I know that that's what's happening? I said, well, is the feminine side happening to you? And she said, yeah. Wouldn't that mean that, if the one side's happening, you know what I mean? All right. So in the headspace, truth. Speak from your heart. It's the only thing worth listening to. Heart space, the only illusion is separation. I love that. Amethyst is on that one. So it looks like feminine got so many chakra balance cards. So it's like balance the whole chakra, feminine. All right. So it says harmony makes the song of life sweeter. Green jasper turquoise is on that one. All right. Let's pull a guidance card. Oh, you know what though? Before I get to the guidance, I gotta show you guys something. I made a little sale in the Etsy shop just specific for Kundalini weekend, right? So guys, 25% off Etsy shop this weekend only, guys. This weekend only. And that is going to be for that chakra balance reading. So if you guys have got one, you need another one, or you haven't got one yet, I definitely recommend it. You can ask 2 questions, guys. 25% off. And then, of course, I did add the twin flame current energy on there too. All right. Guidance, and we will wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming in here and hanging out with me. It says, express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to be your chakra love collective reading. I hope it was helpful. I told Miss Tina, I was like, we're going to split this video up and make like 5 different videos. Mukite helps heal grief and depression. Nice. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Carol. I know. I'm learning to listen quicker, Carol. I'm learning to listen quicker. Thank you, Natalie. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in here and hanging out with me. All right, guys, don't forget, Sunday night, I'll be back. We'll do some free readings and we'll talk some astrology. All right, guys, I'm always sending all of you abundant love and light on your journey. Have a good night.